better than I thought it would.
Okay, this is Sanchez English 2. One of your assignments is to complete the term squares. Here's an example that you provided to me for you guys to look at. Your poetic devices that you're going to use for your term squares are right here. Okay? And then I made you guys a chart that I put into the Google Classroom. So you guys can see that there. Okay? So you can set it up that way. Talk to Miss Sanchez. Make sure she'll accept it. Okay? Might be easier since I know she had said that. Well, for term square, it doesn't matter. Never mind. Okay, so let's move on. So next you have poems. Okay, so these are the directions for your poems, and we'll go over them as we look at the poem. So let's look at your first poem is Fireworks. Okay, so it says, fireworks, you hate me and I hate you. And we are so polite, we too. But whenever I see you, I burst apart and scatter the sky with my blazing heart. In spits and sparkles, in stars and balls, buds into roses and flares and falls. Scarlet buttons and pale green discs, silver spirals and asterisks, shoot and tremble in a mist peppered with mauve and amethyst. I shine in the window and light up the trees, and all because I hate you, if you please. And when you meet me, you render asunder and go up in a flaming wonder of saffron, cubes and crimson moons, and wheels all amaranth and maroons, golden lozenges and spades, arrows of malachites and jades, patents of copper, azure sheaves. As you mount, you flash in the glossy leaves. Such fireworks as we make, we too, because you hate me and I hate you. Okay. So it says in the poem Fireworks by Amy, the speaker's fury towards someone is compared to the burst of fireworks. The poem shows hate in the way it kept on saying things like, and all because I hate you, if you please. It also shows the relationship that they had for each other. It describes their relationship when it said, it spits and sparkles and stars and balls, buds into roses and flares and falls. And other speakers say of saffron cubes and crimson moons. When reading this poem, you can tell the speakers have a lot of problems and hate each other. In the second stanza, when the author wrote, but whenever I see you, I burst apart and scatter the sky with my blazing heart, you realize how much of the relationship between the two speakers is like fireworks. In the poem, the speaker really expresses its anger and conflict toward the other speaker through its emotions. You can certainly see how the poet came up with the title, because the definition of fireworks is a display of violent temper or fierce activity. Throughout the poem, she uses many metaphors. The metaphors are shown when the fireworks between the two speakers are being compared to unrelated objects such as the stars, balls, roses, cubes, moons, and wheels. In the poem, she uses a rhyming scheme of AABB, or also said as every two rhyme. Lowe also uses alliterations such as, but whenever I see you, I burst apart and scatter the sky with my blazing heart. It spits and sparkles and stars and balls, buds into roses, flares and falls. Alliterations not only duplicate consonant sounds at the beginning of the words, but it improves the effect of the vision the reader have on the poem. The anger and details Amy Lowe uses in this poem really gives the reader an understanding and vision of the speaker's thoughts. Okay, so let's look at this. So I made this chart because I know that the poem was not included in your packet and you were asked to print it or go pick it up. So I know I don't have a printer, so you probably don't have one either. So maybe we could contact Miss Sanchez and see if we could do it on an open document. And I've provided this document, not filled out, but a similar one to you on the Google Classroom. So you can see on one side, on the left, I put all the poetic devices she wanted, and then directions for analyzing poetry, and then some more directions and questions she has. So in blue, that's where 1 through 19 you could put over on that side. And then it also, let's see, I'm looking at the second set of directions. So it says identify the form of the poem. Okay, free verse or free form. Okay, this is what I'm looking at. Right at the top it says using the second colored pen or pencil to identify poetic devices. So that's in the blue. Number each stanza on the left margin. If there are no stanzas, you must write that. Identify the form of the poem. Okay. So these are some of the questions, and we'll go over them. I'm just trying to look at all the directions. It says, oh, this is what I was looking for. Identify the rhyme scheme accurately. Write it out at the end of each line. If there is no rhyme scheme, you must write that and explain why. So we said it was AABB. So you'll have to go through and put that on there. Okay, so fireworks, you hate me and I hate you. And we are so polite, we too. So I put rhyming scheme of AABB. First stanza couplet. Me is the speaker. Okay, so I put for comments, do two people hate each other and act like they do not? Are fireworks like rage, anger? The theme is anger and hatred. Okay, so second stanza, you're looking for literary devices. Okay, so I put imagery, alliteration, metaphor, and there's probably other ones there that you could pick. Okay, so but whenever I see you, I burst apart and scatter the sky with my blazing heart, and spits and sparkles and stars, flares and falls. So that's the alliteration. Okay, and then comparing them to that would be the metaphor. So comment, her anger is so strong. Why does she hate so much? She loses her ability to control her mood when she sees this other person. The mood is angry. Okay, so the third stanza, we have imagery, metaphor, personification. And I underlined the part of the stanza that I thought was personification. In the comment I put is, this is how her hatred affects her. Fourth stanza couplet, I shine in the window and light up the trees, and all because I hate you, if you please. Okay, so I think that might be personification. You could put that for a device there. Her hatred causes her to burn up like a firework. Okay, also could maybe be a metaphor. Fifth stanza, we put metaphor. And go up in a flaming wonder of saffron cubes, crimson moons, and wheels of amaranth and maroon. So making that comparison. She thinks he or she feels the same way. So she's saying when this other person sees her, that's how they feel. In the sixth stanza, I put imagery, metaphors, and repetition. The repetition is at the end where it says, such fireworks are we make too, because you hate me and I hate you. Okay, so together through their hatred, they make fireworks. If they didn't have so strong feelings about each other, there wouldn't be fireworks. So you guys need to be making your own comments. These are just things I thought of. So you should have your own ideas, obviously. One of the requirements is you give a brief explanation of the devices from your anthology book. Or, you know what, just use your, if you already did your term squares, just pull it right off of your term squares and put it on here. So you have to have 6 of them, so make sure you have 6. And then some of the questions that were asked were free verse. Oh, is it free form or free verse? I said it was free verse because it has the rhyming scheme. Who is the speaker, the author? What is the subject? Anger. Why? She talks about how she hates the other person. What's the theme? A relationship between two people who hate each other. Why? She talks about her anger, her angry reaction to him or her, and how that person reacts to her. Okay? So I know I went through that really quickly. I had recorded this earlier, and it didn't record, so this is my second time trying to record this, so I'm crossing my fingers it records. So using this form is not following the exact directions that Mrs. Sanchez has given you. So I really want you to communicate with her, email her, ask her, show her an example of maybe this form from the Google Classroom, and ask her if you can highlight the text different colors instead of figuring out how to print it or pick it up, okay? If you guys have any questions or problems, please reach out to me. This is Miss Denver. You can comment on Google Classroom. You can email, text me. Email is jdenver@selmausd.org. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing okay. I know this is a really tough assignment. I'll look at taxing next. Get your term squares done. That's not a hard assignment, okay? So get that done, and then we'll have to look at the next poem. Then also you guys have that poem character assignment you need to do. Okay? Take care. I'll talk to you soon.